Welcome back to the podcast today with me, Johnny Pardo. Today, I welcome Angela to the show where we're going to be talking about many things. We're going to be talking about confidence, we're going to be talking about self-esteem, we're going to be talking about modeling and Christian Models Association as well, which is something Angela's going to tell us a little bit more about today. So just a quick introduction to Angela. So Angela Stikks Adams, CEO and founder of the Christian Models Association, has helped over 3,000 women and children become successful models without compromising their moral and values. So welcome to the show today, Angela. Glad to have you on board.
Thank you, Johnny, for having me. You're so amazing and awesome for creating this space for us to share. So thank you.
Of course. No, I'm excited for the conversation. And I'd first of all love to know a little bit about what is Christian Models Association. Sounds very exciting. And yeah, like what was your like drive behind creating that and then helping women and children with modeling?
Okay, I'm going to be super honest and super transparent. I only want to talk about Jesus. And that's like everything else in my life is just like everything else. But I am a model. So I've been in a modeling industry for 15 years and I would share openly on my Instagram, I'd be like, hey everyone, I just left this audition because they wanted me to wear these booty shorts and I ain't wearing that. And I would just be sharing everything that I'm
Mm,
going through in the industry. And then like other people was like, oh, I want to be a Christian model. And I didn't know I was a Christian model. I was just a Christian who happened to be modeling, but people started to look to me saying, I want to be a model like you. I want to be able to, not compromise my morals and values. So I started helping women. They would send me DMs like, how can I be a model? And I would just help them, do exactly what I'm doing. Agencies, portfolios, I would just be like, oh, this is what you got to do. This is who you can contact. This is who can build your portfolio. And I just was helping them. But it actually got to a point in the industry because the industry is a dark place. And I tell people who want to model, like, you're not just going to be around believers. Like the fashion industry, a lot of people they don't want to hear about Jesus. They don't want to hear about all that. Okay, so it's a very dark industry, and there was actually a point. I was getting so many auditions. Like I was had like a whole closet in my trunk because I was changing my clothes like 3 times a day, going from this audition to that audition, which this is like a model's dream to have like so many auditions and you're just going here, going there.
mm.
But like, I just wanted to quit because I was just so tired of fighting demons. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's so dark. Like, and having to say, I'm not doing this. And then seeing how other people act in the industry, all of the pride, the sexual perversion and just things that I just was so sick of. Like, I don't even want to be a part of this. And I just wanted to like quit. And it was my husband who actually told me like the Lord has you in this industry for a reason, for a purpose. Like you're being a light, I may invite models to church. I may pray with models. They share stories with me. I pray. So he's like, the Lord has you in this industry to be a light. I didn't quit. I'm like, okay, Lord. And that's how you know it's God for real, Johnny. Like when you're doing something that you don't want to do, I'll be like, that's confirmation. Like, I don't want to do this. This must be God. Like Moses ain't want to do it. Jonah ain't want to do it. Like nobody wants to do what God is calling them to do. So I was like, yeah, this probably is what I'm supposed to be doing because I'm trying to like get out of it. And then that's kind of where Christian Models Association came from. I feel like it was just the Lord giving me the desires of my heart because the desires of my heart, I was like, I don't want to be in this industry anymore. I was like, I really just want to talk about Jesus. And then the Lord showed me like, you're going to do that through modeling. Like, this is going to be your platform. This is going to be your ministry. You're going to use modeling as a catalyst to share the gospel, to make disciples. So now I have this community of over 3,000 Christian models, and we can do Bible studies and we can support each other and we can build each other's faith, build each other's confidence, help you get past your fears together, and you don't have to do it by yourself. So I was like, wow, it was just an answered prayer of the Lord just seeing me saying, I know you just want to talk about me, but we're going to do it like this.
Mm. Oh wow! So you sort of yeah. So it was like you stayed in in the modeling aspect, but it was with very much like your values and what was like true to you in your heart, which was God
Yeah.
and following that, and obviously being a Christian and making sure that was part of what you're doing as well.
Yeah, it's really about purpose, right? Like
Mm.
no one gets, Johnny, no one gets to the end of their life like, I wish I would have made an extra dollar. I wish I would have had another car. Like no one gets to the end of their life and they're thinking about, I wish I would have made more money. It's like, no, I wish I would have had a greater impact on the world, on my family, on my children. So I think the sooner you can grab on to your bigger why, which goes beyond making a buck, the sooner you can grab onto that, the sooner your life is just going to be full of so much more purpose and meaning, where you get to the end of your life and you're satisfied. You ready to go. You like, you could just take me, Lord. I done so much. I helped so many people. I feel content, right?
Mm. No, I love that. That you're getting to really feel that purpose and meaning behind things. For
Yeah.
someone like, in terms of a lot of people, it's a question I often ask, but a lot of people out there, and I've definitely been there, can feel a little bit stuck. And
Mhm.
like, what is it I'm meant to do? What is that like purpose? What is that meaning? And it might not be modeling like this case, but how can they find that within themselves?
Donnie, that is such a great question. And something immediately comes to mind. Like it's like a no-brainer. Like it's such an easy answer for me. And it's so easy to do, but the easiest things to do are the hardest things to do. And if there's,
Yeah.
right? Like if there's someone watching right now and they're just like, how do I know what I'm supposed to do? And how do I tap into my purpose and know you have to get away and alone? For me, it's with me
Mm.
and Jesus. Like I can't hear, like it's hard enough to hear past my own thoughts, right? It's hard enough to hear past my own thoughts. But if I'm also engaged in Netflix, engaged in TikTok, engaged in the news, engaged in YouTube, I got all these other medias coming at me fast. I'm telling me what to think, telling me what's important, telling me what I should spend my time doing. There's all these outside forces coming in, and then I got my own mind. And I'm like, you can't get your purpose. You got to get alone. You got to shut things off, shut things down, and you got to put first things first. Even when I transitioned from like just being a model to the CEO of Christian Models Association, I didn't know at all how to start a company. I've never created a company. And here I am, two kids, um, homeschooling my son. I'm married, and the Lord's like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna start a company," and I'm like, "I don't know what that means." And now I have a marketing team. I have employees and assistants and payroll and all of these bookkeeping. Oh, that's the devil. Don't get me started on bookkeeping. Like I'm like, like there's all these things that I had no clue what to do or how to do it. And if I couldn't just get alone with God and hear, and when you get alone and you focus on what the Lord is calling you to do, all of a sudden your resources are illuminated. Like you can see, like when you meet someone in a coffee shop, it's not random anymore because everything else, like when you're in a coffee shop, you're not on your phone. Like you're so intentional. Like you're so when you're in a coffee shop, you're not glued to your phone, but you're getting away from all of that. You're so intentional. Now you look up at someone and just say hi. Next thing you know, they're a business owner. Next thing you know, they want to mentor you. Why? You just disconnected, and now you're able to everything, your help is just going to be illuminated because you disconnected and you're focused on what your next steps are. But I promise you, like, people can't even hear their purpose. They can't hear past TikTok, past their minds are going 100. They can't even sleep. Somebody's watching this right now. You can't even sleep. You got like insomnia. You take pills every night to sleep. That's because you got to shut things down. You got to turn off the Netflix. And start journaling before you go to bed. Start having gratitude journals. And what's so powerful is that you're actually going to see your purpose, like what you're supposed to be doing. It's going to blow your mind. You're going to realize you're already doing it. You didn't even realize you were doing it. Like, wow, someone always, they always call me for that advice. Like, I mean, I didn't, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Or, oh, they always ask
Mm.
me, like, keep whatever you're supposed to be doing. I guarantee you're already doing it at some capacity, but there's so much coming at you that you don't even recognize what your superpower is. You just think it's happenstance. You just think you happen to be good at that. And that's not it. That's your superpower. You can't even see the strength of it because everything else is just sucking the life out of you. Like,
Mm. Wow, I love that. It's so funny. I've been talking to someone I was talking to on the podcast earlier, and we were talking about similar, and just finding that that silence was when she really got in touch with her intuition and her body through health challenges, and actually when she started listening to the body and what was going on, that's when things started shifting and massive transformation. So I love what you're
Johnny, I
saying.
always say put first things first. Put first things first and stop majoring in minor things, right? Like put first things first. Okay, you know you should be taking some mindful time, whether it's prayer, or meditation. You know, oh yeah, these things are important. Like you know you should be exercising. It's the only body you gonna get. Okay, unless you like me and believe in Jesus, there's a resurrection. But like on this earth, on this side, this is the only body we get. You know you should be exercising, but you don't do it. You know you should be doing things to pour into to level up, whether it's learning a new skill, learn like you know you should be doing these things, but it's like uh, why aren't you doing it? Like you have to make a decision to put first things first. And Johnny, one thing that I teach my models because I know how powerful prayer is, I say, hey, don't go on social media until you don't pray for at least 5 minutes. Set your timer, pray for 5 minutes. If you didn't do that, don't go on social media. If you couldn't pray for 5 minutes all day, you ain't got time for social media. You ain't have 5 minutes to pray. So you don't have time for TikTok. You don't have time for Instagram if you don't got time for 5 minutes to pray, right? So
Mm.
putting first things first. We have to do that to thrive, to live a fruitful, purposeful life. We have to put first things first. And binging Netflix should not be on the top of the list. It just shouldn't.
Mm. I'm totally with you. Like getting into that silence. There's a book actually, The Way of the Superior Man, which I know is different, but he said he also said something similar. David Data in it. He was saying you want to find it. You know, you got to find time alone. And he's obviously talking to men, but it's more targeted towards men, that book. But it's like very much find that time and like you got to go alone, and then you'll find it. And I love that.
And not alone on your phone.
Not alone. Yeah,
What?
he definitely does
That's
not say the words alone with your
like
phone in that book. I
to
can
not
vouch
get
for that.
alone and then be like, okay, I'm doing what Sticks said. I'm by myself. Like, no, you can turn it off.
No, I love that. Yeah, it's definitely because I know I've certainly been caught in the past when you just like you see someone, it's like, oh, they're doing that, they're the best at that. I should do that, and it's like, is that really what you want?
Mm-mm.
Absolutely.
And Johnny, it's crazy when someone sees someone and say, "Oh, I want to do that," and I just be like, "You have." It reminds me of Jesus's disciples when Jesus told them, like, listen, I'm going to be killed, I'm going to be crucified, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to be sitting at the right hand of my Father, and he talking about all this glory and stuff. And the disciples is like, I want to sit next to you in glory. Like, where am I going to be sitting? And Jesus is just like, you have no idea what you're asking. Like, and he says, Can you drink the cup I'm about to drink? So we know Jesus goes to the cross, he suffered, he dies, and people thinking like, oh, I want to do what you're doing. And Jesus like, you can't do what I'm doing. You can't drink the cup that I'm about to drink. And it reminds of people that just look at somebody and say, oh, I want to do what they're doing. And it's like, you don't know how many times they fail. Can you do that? You don't know how many times they've been up for 24 hours straight. Can you do that? You don't know how much rejection they face. Can you do that? You don't know how many friends they lost to stay true to what they're supposed to be doing. Can you lose some friends? Like, don't just be like, I want to do what they're doing. And you have no idea how they got there. People look at me and say, oh, I want to do what you're doing. Well, would you leave your family and move 2,000 miles away as a single mom and just start over? Like, do you know what you're talking about? Because that's what I had to do. Like, are you willing to take these big risks and have no idea how it's going to turn out? Are you willing to have only $500 in your bank account and then lose your bank card and be scared of fraud? Like the things that like it's like you don't know what you're saying. Like just you don't know. Like you see this, but you don't know what that person went through to get where they're at. And can you actually endure that? Like don't I think the worst thing you can do, Johnny, is look at someone who's made it and say, "Oh, how can I do that?" You can't do that. Like you can't. But what you can say is somebody can look at me and say, Sticks, what did you do when you were in my position? Right? Like if you're a single mom and you want to be a business owner or you want to be a model, don't just say, how can I do what you do? You can't do what I'm doing. You have no idea how I got here. But the right question is, Sticks, I'm a single mom. I know you are a single mom. What did you do when you were in my position? Now I can tell you what to do where you're at now. I can tell you what to do where you are at right now. But thinking you're just going to jump the gun and be where I am, that's not possible. You can't do that. Right.
Mm.
So,
I love that. Not comparing like where someone is and then not seeing all the things behind the scenes that actually they've gone
I
through,
have no idea their journey.
which social
No
media
idea.
doesn't show.
No.
Yeah, all those
No.
steps.
And you don't even know if they lying. People be lying. People be lying, Johnny. They be like, "Oh, I want their life." Oh, I remember this woman tried to book this lady on her. She was having a conference, and she shared this on Instagram. She said, "Y'all, I try to book this influencer for my conference. I see her all the time on Rodeo Drive. She got all her Chanel bags." I said, she need to be at my level up conference. I need to get this woman at my level up. She could teach all the women how to level up. And she reached out to this girl on Instagram and said, I want you at my conference. And this girl said, well, I got to be honest. I don't know where I'm sleeping. I don't really have a place right now. She like, you know, what? This chick don't even got a home flexing on Instagram. And she shared that. Like, and I'm like, you never know what
Wow.
people are really going through. Forget about what but they could be posting something from like 10 years ago on that one random time that guy took them to Rodeo Drive. Like you just don't know. So it's like I mean, I was at my son's baseball game, and there was a mom sitting next to me, and she showed me her Instagram, and that she just posted that she was on the beach, and I was like, oh girl, you was at the well, I know she's not at the beach because she's next to me, but I'm like, oh, you was at the beach, and she's like, oh, that's not me. And I was like, that's not you. She said, no, I just found any redhead because you can only see the back of her head, and she's on the beach, and it's a long red head, and she's like,
Wow.
no, I just find redheads, and I'll just put. I'm like, that's not even you. Like people see nothing wrong with this. Like, I'm like, the fraud, like the perpetrating that is going on social media. The worst thing you can do is compare yourself or say, I want that. Like that, it is so fake, y'all. It's like you don't even understand how fake it is. Like, oh my gosh, yeah. Don't do that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wanted to kind of follow on from that, like in terms of self-love and building a good relationship with yourself. I know plenty of people go, well, I think most human beings on the planet go through some kind of like doubt or challenges in their self-talk and things like that. Do you find when you find that time for yourself alone, away from all of this, that helps that relationship at all with yourself?
So one thing that I teach is I don't believe in confidence because confidence usually comes from what people think about you. Your parents thought good things about you from a young age, gave you confidence. You grow up, maybe your teachers think good things about you, give you even more confidence. Maybe you become a good athlete and things like that. You become, get even more confidence. You grow up, maybe you do well at work and all that. So all of these external factors are building you up. But soon as you take away those external factors, now all of a sudden there's low self-esteem and there's doubt and there's imposter syndrome and there's like, am I good enough? I mean, I remember walking down Hollywood Boulevard. I struggled with acne like most of my
Okay.
life. And I remember walking down Hollywood Boulevard and a stranger looked at me and said, "Ooh, bumpy skin." I'm like, you think I had confidence in that moment? Or even, I mean, till this day, this was like 10 years ago. And I still recall this. And I remember I was going into Forever 21. And when I went in, they had long mirrors throughout the store from the ceiling to the floor on these long mirrors all throughout the store. And as I'm trying to browse clothes, I'm just looking at every mirror, just looking at my face and hearing this guy criticize me. And it was so embarrassing. And I felt so ugly. Even when guys wanted to date me, I would just be like, why do they want to date me? Like, don't they see all these bumps on my face? Like, I was in Paris. I didn't even want to take photos because my face was like, so I didn't like my face. So, confidence, a lot of times it comes from external. So, what I teach our models at Christian Models Association is we're not going to worry about confidence, but we're going to focus on Godfidence, because Godfidence comes from everything that God says you are. And his word is unchanging and he is not a liar. So when God says that you are fearfully and wonderfully made, you can take that to the bank. When the Lord says, I created you in my image, you are my masterpiece. Like, these are things, these are truths that no one out on in this world can take from you. You are a daughter of a king. The creator of heaven and earth loves you and died for you and found you valuable. Like, so you can't, no one can take that from you. So I teach my models, you have to know the word of God, and you have to know, what does God say about you? Because when anyone else says anything different, you know they're a lie. Oh, they lying. Oh, they say what, they lying. You can recognize all the lies when you know who you are, based on someone who's unchanging, based on someone who's higher than anyone here in this world. So I'm huge on confidence. I don't gotta have it all together, but my father loves me, created me, put his name on me, and that's enough. That's enough for me. So,
Interesting word. I like the word Godfidence. Love it.
confident.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's not like it's a lot more empowering. Well, I sense that as a lot more empowering than kind of just being reliant on something that could may or may not go your way outside of you for how you feel about yourself. I
exactly.
think, yeah, I think with words, they're always like subjective to what people feel about them. But I love the view about, yeah, coming from that internal
Got to
state
be
because,
bigger.
yeah,
You got to come from something bigger than me, something bigger than you, something bigger than this world, and no one can touch that. You can't
mm,
touch that. So,
I love that. No, Angela, yeah, thank you for obviously sharing, uh, your view, like what you've been doing with models and obviously Christian Models Association and, how people can work, like sit with themselves and move forward and really develop that relationship with themselves. Before we kind of like wrap up today, I just wanted to ask you, is there a final point you wanted to maybe share for our conversation? Maybe we've talked about today or something else. And also, where can the listener find you if they want to connect with you or find out even more about your work?
yeah, if there's anyone, the last thing I would want to leave our listeners with is that if you're listening right now and maybe you have a past, maybe you made some mistakes, maybe you feel like you're too old or you don't have enough resources, time's not on your side, whatever obstacles, whatever you've been through, whatever your past is, I need you to get this. as long as you still have breath in your lungs, like as long as you can go, then God can still use you.
Mm.
Every dream, purpose, vision He's put in your heart, it's not too late. And God can do more in a 5-minute prayer than you can do in 5 years of effort in trying and doing it on in your own strength. So if you're watching this and you know, when I talk, you know what book you're supposed to write, you know what company you're supposed to start, you know, like there's some things in you that need to come out of you before you leave this earth. And if you can just get this one thing from this whole podcast, I want to give you a brutal, honest truth. And I hope this doesn't offend you, but if you made it this far, I feel like you're invested and I feel like you would listen to this.
Mm.
If you decide not to pursue that dream, if you decide not to pursue that vision, that passion that God put in you, He put it there. You ain't come up with that yourself, okay? You were born with that for a reason. If you decide not to pursue it because you're so afraid and so fearful and you're not secure in what how to do it, fear is holding you back. I want you to hear me. This is a brutal truth, but I gotta say it. That is so selfish.
Mm.
It's just selfish. You're so focused on yourself. What are they going to think of me? What if I fail? What if I do it wrong? What if they talk about me? What if I'm not good at it? Like you're so focused on yourself that you are not even worried or thinking about the lives of those that you're supposed to be changing. And hear me, you're supposed to be changing lives. You were not created to pay bills and die. That is not why you were created. You were created with purpose. There's purpose in you. It's not too late. And not making an effort. I don't care if it's just 5 minutes a day. You say, you know what? I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm just going to take 5 minutes a day to journal and think about it. Just write down all the
Mm.
things you love. I'm just going 5 minutes a day. I'm just going to focus on what is my impact just for 5 minutes a day and just see what comes of that. But if you just write it off and say, I can't write that book, I can't do that speaking, I can't start that company, I can't, I need you to hear me. It's not just you're scared, you're selfish because you were created to change lives. And whatever book or company, whatever you're supposed to be doing, it's not going to reach anyone it's supposed to reach. And how tragic. How tragic is that? You were supposed to change your life, your family's life, your kids' life, your community's life, your neighborhood, your city, maybe even the world. But you just want to stay in fear and be selfish. I started this company because I knew it was bigger than me. I became a model as a single mom because I wanted more for my son. It's always bigger than me. And what God has for you is bigger than you. But you got to start taking a step. Write down, journal, watch things about your purpose. Watch someone like Miles Monroe, Les Brown. Start learning about your purpose and what you should be doing. There's no excuse. Too
Mm.
much technology, too many resources. If this single mom can do it, you can do it. I had no resources, job. I didn't even have a car. When I started modeling, I was a single mom with no car. Don't tell me you don't have resources. Just take a step and everything else will fall into place. And that's what I want to leave you with. Don't be selfish. Go out and walk in your purpose, even if it's just taking one step. That's it. And if you want to find me, maybe your purpose is modeling. Hey, send me a DM, go to Instagram or TikTok, look up Sticks with two Ks, Stikks model, Sticks model. Send me a DM and just say model. Maybe let me know you heard me on Johnny's podcast, and we'll get you connected with some believers. We'll get you walking. We'll get you published in some magazines because I own these. I own magazines. So, if you always wanted to model, it's not too late. Here's one of our models. She's 60 years old. She's 60 years old, y'all. It's
Oh,
not too late for you. It's not too late. Send me a DM. Just say model and we'll get you set up.
oh, I love it. I also love what you said about even if it just you begin by thinking on what it is for 5 minutes a day. That's a great first step. Love it in that silence. No, thank you so much, Angela, for sharing today. And be sure to link all of those in the show notes below. So thank you.
Thank you.
So that concludes our episode for today. And remember to lead with your heart and not with fear.